Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. For those of you that have watched the last live stream, my mic wasn't working for the first 2 minutes. I think it's working this time. So in that case, let's get started because it's a big one. Napoli have won 5-1 at home against Udinese. As Salvatore Di Brita is saying, 5 goals by 5 different goal scorers. 9 goals in the space of 3 days, guys. We beat Spezia 4-1 on the weekend. 5-1. We're beating Udinese. This team is on fire. 2 games left, 6 points to grab. Fiorentina away, Verona at home. We get those 2 wins, we are definitely in the Champions League, and we don't even have to think about what other people are going to do, what other teams are going to do. We don't have to think about Juventus against Inter, Milan against Atalanta. Just get the win against Fiorentina, get the win against Verona, and we're set. So that's the general context of today's win. And not only was it a fantastic performance, like Macarena73 has just said, but it sends a signal. It sends a signal to everyone. And what do I mean by this? It sends a signal to our rivals, first off, because you win 5-1 and 4-1 3 days ago, you show that you're in form. And Napoli, everybody knows that Napoli is in form. It sends a signal, the Gattuso sends a signal to De Laurentiis and any other owner that he's got what it takes. He's winning games comfortably. It sends a signal to players that might be interested in joining Napoli if we get Champions League football. This is a fun team to play for. 5 different goal scorers, 9 goals in the last 2 games. I think we've passed 80 goals this season, have we? I think, yes, we did. I think we have 83 goals this season. Fun team to be in, and it's just a great way to go into the last 2 games, give us the confidence, and it just puts all the pressure on everybody else. As Sam is saying in the comments, Fiorentina scares me. Fiorentina is not going to be easy. Verona is also not going to be easy. I don't want you guys to think that we've got the 6 points in the bag, because Fiorentina have Vlahovic, which is a fantastic player, 21 years old, I think a bit younger than Osimhen, and he's on 20 goals this 21 maybe. I think he's on 21 goals this season. And if you look at some of his stats, it's incredible what that kid is doing. And then you've got Verona, who, you know, they've got nothing to play for, but the rivalry between Napoli and Verona is always there. So it's not easy, but I'd rather be in our position than Juventus' position that needs to catch up. So, Fabrizio Landria, hi Dom, beautiful match tonight, go Napoli. Ciao Fabrizio, always a pleasure having you on the stream. Lorenzo Moore 14, but Hellas Verona and Fiorentina are both bogey teams, so it'll be tough. Roberto Longo, it also shows we can work a different formation. Napoli are playing really well. I hope Gattuso says Tiger Man. I was going to say Tiger Man. EJ Wise, can't take anything away from the boys' fantastic performance, but does Insigne seem a little off lately to anyone else? His goal was wonderful today, though. Mate, if Insigne is off and this is how he performs, then he should always be off. I mean, I thought he was fantastic. It also, you know, Napoli play differently when Osimhen is on the field compared to Mertens, so it might seem like Insigne is playing a bit different, but it's just that the team is adapting to Osimhen in a different way. We'll see, for example, in the second goal, we'll analyze the goals. The ball went straight from Bakayoko in a defensive midfield position all the way to Osimhen. And it skipped having to go through Insigne, for example. So it's not that Insigne is playing bad. It's just that sometimes we just don't need him as much. And we were too reliant on Insigne at the start of the season and in recent seasons. Now we've got options. We can still play with Insigne getting us in forward positions, but we can also skip him entirely. and we can also now go and play on the right. I mean, guys, the last 2 seasons when Callejon was playing, we basically, that right-hand side, we never used it. This season, we're starting to see Napoli play left, play right, play centrally with Zielinski, and now also we have the long ball option, which we never had. Before Osimhen, this was never an option. You cannot play long balls to Mertens. So it's a team that is finally, with everyone fit, with everyone in form, is starting to come alive, guys. And, you know, if the season, I think, was an extra 10 games, I'd be looking at Inter. Obviously, the season has ended. Inter has won the Scudetto. But, yeah, I think it just came at the wrong time almost for us. Vincenzo Bertillo, 5 goals, 5 different players, the most 5-goal wins in Serie A and top 3 Europe. Spalletti could never. Listen, the players. Here's one thing that doesn't worry me too much about who's coming in next. Let's think back to Mazzarri. We've had Mazzarri, we've had Benitez, we've had Ancelotti, we've had Sarri, we've had Gattuso. 5 different coaches, and we've always scored goals. Yeah, there's been some seasons where it's not been that much, but, you know, when Sarri left, we thought we'll never score all these goals ever again, and then Gattuso comes along. And even with Ancelotti, we did score quite a few goals. Maybe it wasn't so emphatic all the time, but the quality of this team is in the players. It's not in the coach. I mean, the coach so often has actually messed up the situation and hasn't read the game very well. But if there's one thing that this team has, it's quality up front. And I think you could put any person in charge of Napoli, any half decent person, I wouldn't say any person, but half decent coach, and he'd find the way to get Napoli ticking. I do want Gattuso to stay, though. I do, guys. And, you know, we'll analyze the game, but let's talk about this for just a second. Gattuso is proving that this team is with him. He can do well with this team. He's not even that expensive. His salary is 1.5 million. There is no reason economically and tactically and human player to coach relationship wise why Gattuso would leave. The issue is Gattuso and De Laurentiis, because they were at least Gattuso was very public in criticizing De Laurentiis for having contacted different managers when things were not going great. De Laurentiis never really backed Gattuso when things were very, very tough. Never was a statement coming out to support him, and so there's that friction there. Can these two very hard-headed people manage to find a solution for Napoli's sake? We shall see. It's going to be interesting because Gattuso is linked with Fiorentina, and we have Fiorentina next. Luckily, Fiorentina have nothing to play for, but it's going to be interesting. I wonder if the Fiorentina rumors are true. I wonder how that's going to impact Gattuso's mood overall in that game. We'll see. Let's see. Vincenzo saying nothing a top 4 spot and a Grappa couldn't fix it. That's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see we get top 4, De Laurentiis and Gattuso, just sit back, have a drink, sort it all out, buy a few top class players, and we'll be golden next season. Dario Amendola, what a Napoli guy, stellare manita. Yes, 5 goals, 5 different players, stellare, 5-star performance. EJ Wise, nothing warms the heart more than seeing Lozano and Gattuso hugging and smiling. You know, Gattuso with Insigne, with Politano, with he's loved by everyone. So I think Napoli need to do what they can to try and keep Gattuso. He is not irreplaceable. He is not irreplaceable, but he is very valuable. But I want that to be clear. He is not. No one is irreplaceable, guys. No one. All right? There's never one player that is greater than any football team. So it's not going to be a tragedy if Gattuso leaves, is what I want to say. Obviously, I hope he stays, but it's not going to be a tragedy if he leaves. Lorenzo Libutti saying scoring 2 big goals today. Yeah, I'll ignore that comment, Lorenzo. Anyways, let's see. Let's go over the match analysis, shall we? Because there's a lot of tactics to be played. There's a lot of tactics to be discussed. So I don't always talk about different phases of the game that don't relate to goals, but when I saw this, I needed to highlight it. So it's about just understanding how Napoli plays. This didn't lead to any goal. It's not even related to how we scored future goals, but it's interesting to note the movement that we have and how well this team plays. So let me ask you this question. How do you get the ball to Zielinski, right? Because, if you think about it, you've got these 3 Udinese players covering Zielinski. He's no David Beckham. He can't bend the ball like that. There's no way that pass is going to go through. But Zielinski's the guy you want on the ball, right? Because you want him to link up with Osimhen. You want that. You want to get in behind Udinese. So what does Napoli do? Insigne is the key here because he drags a defender out of position. And not only that, but he creates a movement where everyone's looking towards Insigne, right? He's the guy that comes right in front of the midfielders. Everyone's gonna look at him, and all of a sudden, now you've got space that has opened up where Insigne was, because everyone thought Insigne was going to receive the ball. They were going to wait for that. And now Isai actually goes the other direction, and he catches everybody off guard. So now Isai's into space, and look at Zielinski. He is perfectly positioned to be in between the midfielders and the defenders. And at that point, he can receive the ball quite easily. Isai attempts that. It's not it's not random that Isai attempts that. This is something that's trained in the week. Isai attempts that pass, and unfortunately his left foot lets him down, guys. But you can see here how to beat a defensive block, an organized team like Udinese, and get in between the midfielders and the defenders. A lot of people think, it has to just go through the middle, but actually you can go wide and cut inside the middle. So that's something that Napoli is able to do, and they do it quite well. Lorenzo Libutti saying Napoli talk check safe moon. This is not going to become a cryptocurrency live, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not a financial advisor. Anyways, but as I was saying, Napoli is able to get in behind the midfielders, the defense. And guys, let me just say, if you like these sort of tactical analysis and a bit of banter in the chat, then go ahead and smash that like button. There's 40 of you guys watching, and only 20 have smashed the like button. Be on the good side of Napoli and go ahead and smash that like button. Let's read some of the other comments. Sam is saying, could you make a video about players that we can realistically buy and use? Sam, of course I'll make a video about that when the time is right, when the mercato is going to be open, when the season is over. I think there's just so much to talk about the remaining 2 games and the implications that everything has. I want to do a review video because I did when the season started, I did a video about my season predictions, and so then I want to review that one, and then we'll have a lot of time to talk about mercato, guys. I don't want to be one of those journalists that keeps talking about mercato and they know nothing. AJ Wise is saying, I think to compete with the other big dogs, we need a fullback like Tagliafico. Isai is just a little too slow, and when he was trying to defend against Cuadrado and Chiesa, Isai is a bit finished. I think Isai, Mario Rui, they need to go, or maybe just one of them stays. Maybe Mario Rui because he's got the contract as a backup. Diego Marquez, it's unfortunate that they couldn't find their groove earlier on. Hopefully next season we can start off and finish strong. Most definitely title contenders. Diego, I think it's also, a very big disappointment that we couldn't keep this up. for the season, but actually we started well. The first bit of the season, 6-0 against Genoa, 4-1 against Atalanta, 4-0 against Roma. We started off well, and then COVID, then injuries, Mertens, Osimhen, Koulibaly. It was a mess, guys. It was a mess. The whole spine of the team was gone at one point. Fabian, Demme, they kept getting injured. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but now everything's clicking again. Anthony Navarro, hi everyone. Wow, what a game. Everyone in our 11 and subs in that second half turned up. I do think Udinese being sloppy played a big part, but we finally professionally are closing out games recently. Great comment, man. And I totally agree. And we'll take a look at that because, let's go forward with the analysis. Let's see how both we were good, but Udinese was sloppy. Kygerman is saying this channel is so underrated. I hope it becomes bigger. Keep up the good work, Dom. Kygerman, thank you so much for that comment. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It really helps if you guys smash that like button, share it with your friends, your mother, your daughter, your brother, your dad, your grandpa. Share this channel with everyone, guys. So that always helps. Anyways, let's go on. So Napoli. I thought it was gonna be one of those games, guys. I thought it was gonna be one of those games where, you have a million chances and you don't score, because this happened at the start. Di Lorenzo off a corner, and the second ball that arrived to him, lobs it over the keeper. He should have done better there, and I thought, is this a sign of things to come? Luckily it wasn't. Oh my god. Lawrence Moore is saying you should create Napoli coin. I think I might. Guys, go buy Napoli coin. It's going to be on the market in... Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't do it. I can't do that. You guys are going to sue me. So, yeah. But it's a good idea. It's a good idea, Lawrence Moore. Anyways, so I thought, the game was going to be difficult for us. But then this happened, right? Napoli's first goal. And we discussed it, guys, last weekend about how teams are letting Napoli just so much space to pick out Osimhen. They leave Osimhen in between the two center backs with meters and meters and meters of space for him to run into, and they just leave a lot of time for the player on the ball to pick out the right pass. And Osimhen is able to beat these players with his speed. And then he's got the height and the strength to beat them in the air as well. He does a 1-2 with Zielinski, double header, as if we're playing on the streets of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And then Osimhen, this is where he's improved a lot this season, guys. Osimhen is able to turn around on the defender and face the goal. Guys, this was something that he struggled with so much at the start of the season. He couldn't play with his back to the goal, but instead he turned around and he could have done better with the finish. I'll be honest with you. He could have done better. Shoots it right at the keeper. Keeper gets a touch to it, but it falls back to Zielinski, who then just has to pass it home. Let's see. Blue Line is saying, what do you think about the 4-4-2 formation last two games? There is a lot of talk about 4-4-2. I still think it's a 4-2-3-1. At the end of the day, guys, it's very fluid. Formations are just there to put something on a piece of paper. I never really got into the whole 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I think it's more about your attitude in the game and how you adapt to the situation around you. Formations are something that I don't like to get that much into. I think it's almost like a very basic way to think about football, just static lines, especially going forward. They're a bit, it's a 4-4-2 defensively, that's for sure. That's always been the case. And defensively, you need to be static lines almost. But going forward, it's all about movements and creativity, and positions come and go. Black Ocean 75 saying time to call my lawyer, because I just talked about financial advice. So Great. I'm screwed, guys. No, I know you guys wouldn't do that to me. I'm your homeboy. Don't call a lawyer on me. Don't snitch. Kigerman, reports are saying that if Juve didn't officially withdraw from the Super League, they will be banished from Serie A. That would be so funny. That is something that we gotta look into, or we gotta wait and see what happens. I don't think it's ever gonna come to that. I think that's a super serious penalty, and I think it's more of an intimidation tactic. It just makes more sense, for example, for the Serie A to just maybe give them if they really want to do something, if they're really serious about it, maybe give a points deduction to Juventus, or a big financial fine, 20 million euros, whatever it is. But to remove them from the Serie A and remove all those TV audiences, it just wouldn't make sense, I don't think. So yeah, let's go on to the next goal. This one here is a pass is picked out for Zielinski, but look at the sloppy defending from Udinese. Like, this goal is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but look at this, right? You've got Fabian in that position, and the defender doesn't realize that he's an easy pass for Zielinski to pick out, and that he should maybe, just maybe, be a little bit closer to him. But instead, look where he is. Look where he goes when Fabian receives the ball. He's miles away. And that position there, where Fabian is exactly the type of position where, if I was defending against Napoli, I would not give Fabian that much room in that little box. That is Fabian territory. If Fabian could pick 2 by 2 meter in the field where he's comfortable and can perform at his best, it's that little box, that little 6 by 6 feet little box. That's where you don't want Fabian, if you're the opposition, to be completely alone. But for some reason they do that, and I don't think there was any specific need for that defender to move so out of position. But it is what it is. We'll take it, and then he curls it in beautifully. I mean, this is a beautiful goal, maybe his best goal for Napoli, and he scored some beauties in recent seasons, guys. Eric Guerrero is saying, why do people love to sleep on Napoli? Everybody somehow still has Juve and Milan to get Champions League, when clearly the facts are that Napoli is the better team, the most underappreciated club in world football. Yes, I do think we're better off than Milan and Juventus. We're our better team. Milan are doing well this season for sure, but they also have almost 20 penalties that went for them. So let's not get too much into that. Greetings from Germany, mate, says Mauri Napoli 10. Just discovered your channel. Awesome, man. Hope you subscribe. Hope you guys like the channel. There are no goals without mistakes being made, says Sam. Sam is dropping some knowledge. I mean, the only person I think that can score a goal without mistakes being made around him is Lionel Messi at the moment. I think that's a true statement. Every goal requires someone from the other team giving you that extra bit of space, or you're too late on the ball. So, but this is a big mistake. We're talking big mistakes. Lewis is saying that's not true. Juve is not favored to make champions. Well, yeah, with 2 games left, Juve is not favored. But I think what Eric was saying was that, in the months leading up to the Champions League race or the start of the season, everyone disregarded Napoli. And if you look back at the very start of the season, before any kick was even done, in the Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere dello Sport, all these websites, all these newspapers in Italy were ranking Napoli 5th or 6th. They were putting Roma above us. They were putting everyone above us. And then, when suddenly we're not in the top 4 for a period of time, there's a lot of criticism. Oh, why are you not in the top 4? But it's like, I thought you guys said that we were 5th or 6th. And now that we're 2nd tonight, they don't mention it enough. But hey, that's fine. That's fine. We'll take that. We'll take that. It's okay. We'll let them do the talking. We'll do the scoring. Let's go on with the next goal. And in this case, it was Udinese. Now, guys, big mistake by Manolas. I mean, two actually. Because number one, he plays Okaka onside. Look at the position of Di Lorenzo and Rahmani, and then look at the position of Manolas. You know that De Paul is looking forward. He might pick out that pass for Okaka. What you need to do is you need to make a movement before the pass is made to step in front of Okaka. That way, if the ball is played to Okaka, he's going to be offside. You've got to make that movement. You've got to take that initiative. Instead, he engages in a one-on-one physical battle with Okaka even before any ball is played, which is crazy for me. Now, if we go forward a frame in this, right? The ball is finally played. That's a huge distance to play a pass, right? You've got about a second and a half to react. And Manolas is still behind Okaka. This is very old school defending, guys. I mean, the modern defender steps out. The modern defender sees the pass coming and he steps in. It also depends what kind of player you have in front of you. But when you've got Okaka, who's so physically strong, you know that he can turn on you. There's players like Ibrahimovic, Okaka, Duvan Zapata. You don't stand behind them because they are strong, they can receive the ball, and they can turn on you. With these players, you've got to anticipate them. You've got to put them in offside positions. You've got to get the ball before they do. Instead, he doesn't do that. He lets Okaka get the ball, turn, and worst of all, shoot. And he got bullied. He got bullied in those 3 seconds that we just talked about. He got bullied very badly. It's not a good look for Manolas. It's not good. Experienced defender shouldn't be making those kind of basic defending mistakes. Napoli need to be careful against Fiorentina because they have Callejon and Ribéry who can cause danger. Kigerman says, be careful of those two, but especially Vlahovic. I mean, how can you talk about Fiorentina as a dangerous team and not mention Vlahovic, man? I don't get that. Anyways, Sam, I see Mbappe leaving PSG, Ronaldo moving to PSG. I don't know. Maybe. Neymar just renewed with PSG. Mbappe, these talks are still in discussion. It could be that, Mbappe goes to Real Madrid and Ronaldo goes to PSG and maybe Benzema goes to, I don't know where, goes to the beach. I don't know. Guys, I mean, this is all mercato and stuff like that. No one knows. But Ronaldo will 90% not stay at Juventus if they don't have Champions League football. It's just not something that's going to happen. Is this possibly Lorenzo Insigne's best season for Napoli? 16-17 comes close, but I think Insigne is really becoming a true capitano. Amsic will be proud. I do agree with you, Eric. I think since the Inter game where he had that moment that, he didn't really behave like a captain, got his nerves beat him. He's then recovered, and he's been tremendous in 2021. 18 goals this season, tied with his 17-18 season or 16-17 season, whatever it is. Assists, goals, leadership, you name it. He needs to renew. He's got 1 year left on his contract. That needs to be sorted. But the fact that there's no rush is positive. If there was an issue, would be hearing it more in the media. But I don't think Insigne is at risk of leaving Napoli. Anyways, the third goal for Napoli is the most important goal of the game because at that point it was 2-1. you can throw away a 2-1 lead very, very, very simply. Just, and it can ruin a season. It can ruin us. We were this close to ruining a season. And then Lozano steps up. He starts, when the ball is played from the center back to the goalkeeper, Lozano is not even in the frame. But he understands that the goalkeeper is going to play the ball in a certain way. And he anticipates it, and he's sprinting, and he gets in front of the Udinese player, gets the ball, and then he's off balance because he's sprinting, the guy's on him, but he manages to get the ball in the back of the net. Great finish, and this settles Napoli. It settles our nerves, and it leads us, to the 3 points. And it's a key moment in the game. It's down to Lozano's desire, and that needs to be awarded and needs to be highlighted, because not a lot of players do this type of pressing. But Napoli with Osimhen, with Lozano, they do this. They recover so many balls that the goalkeeper and defenders play. So yeah. AJ Wise is saying, don't worry guys, if things get hairy against I've never heard that before. If things get hairy against Fiorentina, Insigne is going to play an over the top and Callejon's going to score an own goal like the good old days. Wouldn't you love to see that? Wouldn't you love to, like, Callejon just forgetting that he's playing for Fiorentina and just slots it past his own goalkeeper? It's like, oh, whoops. Wishful thinking. Hopefully we don't need to do that. And yeah, I don't expect another 6-0 against Fiorentina. I know we beat them 6-0, but it just won't happen again. I'm hoping we win. Guys, don't expect another 4 or 5 goals. Let's be realistic about football games, how they should be. I think if we can get 2 or 3 goals, then we should be happy. Even if it's 1-0, that's fine. But obviously, you want a bit more just to feel safe going into that last one. Lewis is saying, I hope Gattuso stays if Napoli are healthy and get some couple more good players to add to the team. They will make a run for Scudetto. Yeah, and if everybody stays fit and stayed fit, this team could have gone and won the Scudetto. This team lost the Scudetto for external factors, in my opinion, because Inter did not have the injuries and that Napoli did, not to the key players. Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez stayed fit throughout the season, and you could say that's merit to Inter. Sure, fine, but it's not like our injuries were muscular. I mean, our injuries were Osimhen hitting his shoulder on the ground, playing for Nigeria, and was out for 3 months. Mertens twisting his ankle. It's not like they trained badly. It's not like a muscular injury or like, oh, if Osimhen was fitter, he wouldn't have got in. No, it's not. It was just unlucky. Napoli got unlucky. Inter didn't get unlucky. It would have been interesting though to see what would have happened. And then we go on to the last goal, and this was credit to Gattuso actually, because you've got to study these things. You've got to understand how Udinese plays, even the little details like the corners. And I did say, guys, I don't know how many of you follow the Forza Napoli podcast with Joe Fischetti. It's on Spotify. I was a guest on it yesterday. And one of the things that I mentioned was I think Napoli could get a header, could get a goal with a header, because I saw that as a weakness. We scored with a header with Bakayoko in the first leg, and I mean when we first played in the season. They've been conceding a few goals with a header. Ronaldo scored a header against them, and I just thought, you know what, they're not so good maybe in the air, and this is a weakness that they have, and we exploited it with the 4th goal. They were 100% zonal marking, which is a bit odd to see. Usually teams, they have a hybrid system where you've got 1 or 2 players man marking everybody else. Well, man marking 1 or 2 players of the other team, and then everybody else is zonal. But to get 100% zonal is a bit strange. It allows Napoli to run towards the outswinging ball, and Manolas gets there first, jumps on it, goalkeeper reacts, can't push it far enough away, and Di Lorenzo is the first to react, like in the first half, but this time he remembers to keep the ball low because there is a crossbar that we need to respect. You can't just shoot anywhere like he did in the first half. Lozano and Politano as the undisputed right-wing starter, both have been massive this season. Eric, it depends. It really does. I like both, and it's something that I talked about in the podcast yesterday. It depends on who's playing against us. It depends whether we want an overlapping run from Di Lorenzo that can cause you to stretch out defenses in one way and then you pull the ball back, or maybe we want Lozano to be the one that is arriving at the end of crosses from an Insigne pass from the other side, for example. Then you want Lozano who just goes straight, because Politano, maybe he's more someone that likes to cut inside. It honestly just depends on what you want, and I think they're both such excellent players that I think any game you pick either him or Politano and you're good. You're good. And it just depends on who's in better form at the moment. There's sometimes that Lozano's on fire and you got to play Lozano. Other times there is Politano who is on fire, and so you play Politano. In a team like Napoli, you want that kind of competition. All the best teams have that kind of competition. You go to Man City, you've got Sterling on the bench for half a season, and then Riyad Mahrez starts, and then he starts, and Riyad Mahrez is on the bench for half a season. Right now, he's the guy that's starting, and Sterling is on the bench. It's not always like that, and it's the same with Napoli. Any top team is like that. You don't have in the forward positions, especially the creative ones, where it relies a lot on form. You don't really have a fixed starter in a lot of the teams. So especially the wingers. And it just shows that Napoli can be a top team. Anthony Navarro saying, can you link the podcast? Yeah, I'll put that in the description after the video is published. But yeah, you guys can just type in Forza Napoli podcast on Spotify. And is that it? No, there was one more thing I wanted to point out. It's Insigne going on an adventure in the second half. This moment where he gets the ball on the left and then just decides, what, why not? I like to explore. I like to do a bit of traveling. Things are opening up. Let's go see the other side. And he goes there and he smacks that ball into the crossbar. Just like that. No warning. He just decides, I'm going to go left to right and hit the crossbar. Just for fun. Crazy stuff, man. I love Insigne. I love it when Napoli does these things that, are a bit new or a bit, we never see Insigne on that side. So yeah, it was great to see. And then he capped it off a few minutes later. He was in the mood this time to actually score. So, after, he's alive, reactive. There's a loose ball that comes off the foot of an Udinese player. He's the first to react to it. Napoli today have been the first to react to almost any situation. It's something that we were missing against Cagliari when we dropped points, but let's not go back to that. Napoli is first to react, controls it with his chest, volleys it, keeps it low, beats the goalkeeper, and then goes off and celebrates with Gattuso, which is a big signal. It's a big signal because, as you guys know, we don't know whether Gattuso's staying, leaving. We don't know, but surely the players want him to stay. Lewis C is saying, when was the last time Juve didn't make the Champions League? I think it was the year before they won the Scudetto, when they finished 7th. So 10 years ago, I think it's the first time that they didn't make. It was the last time they didn't make the Champions League. Xiazi Boy is saying, Osimhen is the definition of pressure. Somehow I feel if he played the full 90, he would have gotten his goal. Yeah, but it's good that he didn't play the full 90, because Mertens is not having a good run of form right now. So you don't want to have any injuries, but most importantly, you don't want Osimhen to get a yellow card, because Osimhen has 4 yellow cards this season. With 1 more yellow card, he misses the next game. So we need to be very, 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 very careful. And he had to be careful today. He needs to still be careful against Fiorentina, because you don't want to miss Osimhen. He is so important for us. He's on fire, allows the team to play well. He stretches the field, links well, recovers so many balls. His work ethic, I can't speak highly enough of Osimhen in the last few months. But honestly, I've been a huge fan of Osimhen since even before he came to Napoli, guys. When we were first rumored with Osimhen, I made a video, one of my first videos. I think it's my most performing video. So, just go to the popular ones on my page. And I compared him to Milik, and I was saying, guys, this guy is what we need. Just look at this, look at that, look at this. And I was a firm believer that this is the guy that we need. And, he proved it in the first few games. And then he got injured. He had COVID. It took him a bit of time to get back on his feet. And, not great performances in that period. But now that he's back, fully fit, now he's showing the world what he's capable of. But he was always going to be instrumental for Napoli. I could see that from before he joined. And what's crazy is that even when he was performing badly, no one ever said, I miss Milik. Osimhen at his worst is better than Milik at his best. End of discussion. End of discussion. And that just shows his quality. So, yeah, guys, I can't believe it's been 40 minutes and I haven't even gone to the player ratings. And you guys haven't even asked for the player ratings. What's going on? So let's go on to the player ratings, guys, because there's a lot of green. There's a lot of green in this. There's one player that has red, and that is Manolas for his elementary mistake against Okaka for the goal. I have to penalize him. I have to. It's something that I don't want to see. And I would have thought that Rahmani would be the weak link coming in to replace Koulibaly, but actually, guys, take a look at Rahmani when he defends. He steps in. He anticipates the pass. Manolas didn't do that, and it proved costly. Hizai and Meret had average games. Hizai got substituted as well. Di Lorenzo got a goal, which is great. You want him to be reactive and scoring those type of goals. That's why we bring him forward for the corner. So he gets a 7. Bakayoko gets a 7. Great ball for Osimhen. And overall, just really comfortable in that midfield. I think in the last few weeks, he's been playing quite well. He's not been a liability anymore. And guys, I know I made it for the new subscribers. I made a song about Bakayoko, kind of teasing him. No hate, just a bit of fun. But he's been improving immensely since then. And Fabian 8, because I think he played as well as Bakayoko, but that goal is sublime. It has to be rewarded with man of the match. So he gets an 8 for the number on his back. Lozano and Zielinski played good. Lozano got a goal, but a bit absent throughout the game. I don't know. He's not the same player that he was at the start of the season. Still a positive game. Still, when he needs to do something, he's there. That third goal, he needed to do something. He was there. So that needs to be rewarded. But he's not, in the action as much as he used to be. His fitness is probably the reason why, because he got injured with his hamstring, kind of got rushed back, immediately played with Mexico, had to come back, then played with us. I don't think he fully recovered. Zielinski 6.5, that's a good performance. He got the goal. It was an easy goal, but not his best. Insigne, a bit absent in the first half, but I liked him in the second. He was rushing back to recover the ball. He had that, crossbar effort, and the 90th minute he got a goal, still trying to improve. on the scoreline, and as I said, 18 goals this season. It's his best season for Napoli and as a leader of this team. And then Osimhen 7 because his link-up play was great. He didn't get the goal. If he did, that would have bumped him up, but instrumental for Napoli. He was so dangerous, so many chances that he created for himself. Guys, that's the thing. He's not your Icardi that the whole team needs to do stuff before the ball gets to you and then you take a shot. No, Osimhen, he does the movement. He calls the ball. He intercepts the pass. He runs past players. He's kind of a one-man show, and that's great to see. But it's like a one-man show, but it works with the team, which is great. And then the subs, no one really had that much of an impact except Politano. I thought he was lively, so I'm gonna give him the same score as the other players that did all right in the game. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments about all this. Thoughts on his eye today, says Vesavius. His eye. Final 2 games for Napoli, probably. Won't say I'll miss him. Wish him well. Could have been lower, in my opinion. But I kind of wanted to put the distinct. I wanted to show the difference between him and Manolas, because Manolas did a really elementary mistake that I covered, and I wanted to show how bad it was. So I wanted Manolas to be the worst. So if I put 5.5 to his eye, then Manolas would have to be a 5. But I thought maybe that's a bit harsh. So that's the process that I had in my head. Yeah, not a great performance by him. Seeing Bacca in green is such a pleasant change, says EJ Wise. I know, and he's not a player that we'll have next season. Napoli have decided not to renew him. I wonder if they'll change their mind. I don't think so. I think Napoli can afford to do better. But I think maybe a lot depends on Fabian as well. Because if we do sell Fabian, and we do sell Lobotka, who's basically like, it's as if we didn't sell anybody because he never plays. But if we do go down that route, then we have to ask ourselves, do we want a third midfielder to leave as well? That's a lot of change in a key area of the field. Maybe Bakayoko is okay to stay as a substitute. Will Chelsea reduce their asking price of 18 million for a guy that's just going to sit on the bench? Who knows? Or maybe we get someone like Gaetano, a youth player who plays in Serie B right now. Maybe we get him to come back and put him in this deeper position that Ancelotti was testing him out in, even though I think he's more of a number 10. But, let's see how maybe he does over there, and take that approach, or go in and buy someone young, new from Holland, from some other championship that other teams are not thinking about too much, or that the price is not too high. Let's see how that happens. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the comments. Diego Marquez is saying, I've said it before and I will do it again. Victor and Chucky are going to be an amazing duo. Diego, when Chucky and Victor are going to be both 100%, Serie A isn't ready. The Serie A is not going to be ready for that one. But Lozano is a type of player that he needs to be in form, because he relies so much on his physical performance. He needs to run past players. He needs to be intense. So if he's a bit, today he's not feeling it, not too fit, then, it can be a bit of a not an issue, but he's going to be like a 6.5. He's not going to have that 8 performance. But the start of the season was fantastic. And I think if I had to pick out 3 players, it's going to be so hard. But okay, top 5 players for Napoli this season will have to be Insigne, Lozano, Zielinski, Osimhen's end of the season, getting us that Champions League football. And then maybe I'll go with one of the defenders. I'm struggling between Koulibaly and Di Lorenzo. I thought Di Lorenzo had a solid season. But then you've got Demme, Fabian. I mean, how can you how can you pick and choose, even though Fabian had a bad start to the season? It's going to be interesting. I'll definitely have to make a video about that at the end. So guys, stick around, subscribe. As I said, share it with everyone, with your dog, with your grandpa, with your grandma, with your mom, your dad, your friends. Share Napoli Talk with everyone. Miners would be a quality replacement, Lorenzo was saying. He's been on fire this season for AZ. There has been rumors about that. That's why I mentioned the whole Dutch league. There has been rumors. He's a good player. It's going to be interesting. I wouldn't mind something like that. I personally want someone, though, that is used to the Serie A. I want next season to be the season that Napoli finally says, we're going to challenge. We bought quality players that we know are going to deliver. Players like Locatelli. I'm not saying to spend 80 million. I'm not saying that. I'm saying spend money on guaranteed products. We don't need a superstar. Guys, this team can beat anyone in Serie A. This starting 11, this one right here, the one that you see right here, can beat anyone. And it's not even full potential. We don't even have Koulibaly. All right? We don't even have Demme on the starting 11. But this team can beat anyone. What I'm saying is, if we do want to make that step up or we get a little bit more consistency, it's not about getting the superstar. It's about getting that guy that's performing at a high level every game. Nothing too fancy. Someone like Locatelli. If we get someone like him, I think, in that place of Bakayoko or something, I think that's going to be good because he's young, experienced, Italian, so he's got no problem adapting to the league. I don't know. I would put my money on him, guys. I would put my money on him. I wouldn't want to take risks next season. When he's in form, Osimhen flies around like defenders, like an annoying fly. He's impossible to mark. Man, flies can be so annoying. A few months ago, I had one that literally didn't leave my house for a week. I had all the windows open. Never left. For a week. I even got kind of close to it. I was like, I thought this was my pet at one point. Just one fly, guys. It's not like I'm living in a place that's full of flies. It was one fly. Just wouldn't leave. It was so annoying. And, Osimhen is a bit like that. He's just so annoying to the other defenders. It won't leave them alone. So, yeah. Locatelli would be great, says Johnny Depp. Tonali would be great as well if AC Milan think he's not performing. Yeah, Tonali would be good because Tonali has so much potential, but he's also very experienced. He's not had the best season for Milan. I don't think they'll sell him, though. I don't think so. I think Milan have made an investment with him, and they'll try to keep him, especially because I'm not sure if Pioli is staying or leaving. So that'll be interesting. Chassis Boy is saying, I know that Udinese were going to play from deep because of Osimhen, but the thing is, focusing on Osimhen makes them lose focus on others. Very true. Very true. They were very focused on Osimhen. They didn't even do a good job with that. And as you pointed out, they weren't focused on others. Everybody around Osimhen scored. Fabian, Zielinski, Insigne, Lozano, you name it. Everybody around Osimhen scored. And that's the beauty of having Osimhen. He just grabs people's attention, and everybody around him can just play so much better when he's on the field. I'm not saying that he's better than Mertens. I'm not saying we should always play him instead of Mertens. There's going to be games where Mertens is going to be much better. If a team is sitting really deep, and I'm talking really, really deep, then maybe Mertens is the better option. And I'd like to see them play together as well sometimes. Maybe give Zielinski a bit of a breather. We've got so much option, guys, especially going forward. It's fun times ahead. Lucas on mobile saying Tonali is getting signed regardless. Cuore Azzurro, 2 players you would like in Napoli. As I said, 1 midfielder. I think someone like Locatelli, experienced Serie A midfielder, but young with potential. Calm on the ball, doesn't lose the ball too much, good at intercepting, all that stuff. And then a left back. This is where we need to make that step up because it's costing us. The midfield isn't costing us so far, but the left back position really is. Mairo Rui, Isai has to go. I'm sorry, he needs to go. And we need a good left back. Emerson. Talking about players that would adapt well. Emerson, Tagliafico from Ajax. I think anyone will do, guys. Anyone will do. Just give me anybody. I've seen some people post on Twitter their Sunday League performances, and I'm like, yep, you would do a better job. But yeah, that's something that we need to sort out. But the thing is that this is the problem though, because historically we've never spent much money on left back and right back. Our most expensive player in that position is Di Lorenzo, 8 million, but Isai 5 million, Gulam 5 million, Mario Rui I think maybe was 10 actually, but it was a weird one. It was like on loan, and then we had to like prove that he was okay. It wasn't like I'm just gonna buy you. It was like, we'll get you on loan, and then I think there was an exchange that I can't remember the details of, but it's not a position that we spend a lot of money on. De Laurentiis loves to spend big on the striker. 40 million for Higuain, 70 million for Osimhen, even though there's 20 million that went the other way for Nice. But then when it comes to certain positions, he doesn't want to spend money. He's got limits. He's got like 30 mil limit for midfield, and then a 10 mil limit, let's say, on left back and right back. And he's just like that sometimes. Marcelo has too much wages. Yeah, Marcelo's old and has too much wages. I want someone that we can have for the next 3-4 years, so we don't have to think about it anymore. What do you think about Soumare? I think that he would be good. Yeah, as I said, anyone would be an improvement from Isai. It's not gonna be too difficult. Would you consider the possibility of Amsic returning? No, because it will destabilize the team. You cannot have an ex-captain come back, and now all of a sudden you made him come back, and what? He's just gonna what's he gonna do? Be on the field and not wear the captain's armband? You're gonna take that away from Insigne? Or he's gonna be in the dressing room, and once upon a time he was the guy leading, and now he just needs to be quiet and let Insigne speak? And he used to be, the man at Napoli, playing every game, and now he's got to compete. He's got to compete against, he's got to fight for his place again. And if he doesn't win that fight, you're going to have Amsic on the bench. Is that what we want from this? There's been players that come back, legendary players. I'm not talking about your average player comes back on loan, so your 18, 19-year-old comes back to the team. I'm not talking about that, guys. I'm talking about a legendary player returning to the team. I think the last time I saw that happen was Thierry Henry for Arsenal. At one point, he came back for like 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever it was. But it was because they had a crisis in midfield. And it was, okay, you're only back for 6 months. You know that, and that's it. Liverpool did that with Robbie Fowler at one point. But it's just weird, right? It's weird dynamics. I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? I think it would be strange because it's not the same. It's he's essentially a new player, but he's got a history in the team, and it's a bit like Sarri coming back. It's a closed chapter, guys. It's a closed chapter. He's not going to be able to replicate what he did for Napoli 3 years ago, but people are going to expect that. But it's a different team. It's a different person, and it just puts unnecessary. It's going to create unnecessary comparisons with the past, and it's not going to do us any good if things, are not exactly like they were in the past. It's just going to make things so much worse. Like one defeat by Sarri, and all of a sudden, it's not like how it used to be, and stuff like that. It's just not good. Everything's gonna be super exaggerated. So, nah. But I would love to see Amsic back in a different role, not as a player, but maybe when he retires, as a figure in the club, as a director, as a scout, as a right-hand man to De Laurentiis, something like that. That's going to be, an ambassador. That's going to be a role that I want to see Amsic take, but not as a player. Not as a player, guys. That ship sailed. Even though he's a quality player, he could play for, I think, still any team in Europe, or most teams in Europe. But it just can't be with Napoli. It just can't be. Anthony saying, you think we get rid of Petagna, and when Tutino comes back from loan, we slide him over to be our second striker or third option? I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't seen Tutino that much this year with Salernitana. I know that he scored that penalty, which was so important for Salernitana last week. In the 96 minutes, Salernitana are back in the Serie A, a team from Campania, which is good for football in the south of Italy. There is a bit of a rivalry between the two teams, so that's going to be interesting. But Tutino, I haven't followed him that much. I haven't followed his progress. I do know he's a quality striker. I would have to, do my research onto that. I think he would love to play for Napoli, even as a third option, because he is, part of the family of the club. He grew up at Napoli. He's still young, and Napoli never lost hope in him. They never really sold him. He was always put on loan, and I think they've got a project for him. Maybe that's going to be the case. Maybe he's going to do a season on the bench, and then when Mertens is finally time to hang up his boots, then he's going to be that second striker in behind Osimhen. Who knows? We'll see. Or maybe he's going to go off on loan and do his experiences in other Serie A teams, maybe even with Salernitana, build a bit more, experience, and then come back even stronger for Napoli. So I don't know about Tutino. We'll see. But I don't think our third strike option is that much of a concern as opposed to like left back. I still think Mertens has a year at least in him, and if Osimhen can stay fit, then it should be fine. Johnny Depp says we need fast athletic left back. Yes, I agree. So we've got Johnny Depp and Ronaldinho in the chat. Ronaldinho is saying you guys should check out Jesus Gallardo, Mexican left back, very good attacking, decent defending, 26-year-old and cheap. Ronaldinho, if you suggest something, then it must be good. I mean, you're Ronaldinho. No, but Jesus Gallardo, yeah, I know him. He's very good. And I agree with what you're saying. He's an option. The problem here is unfortunately his passport. Now you're thinking, that's racist, Dom. I'm not being racist. I'm not. But it's not about that. I love Mexicans. But it's about you have a limit on the amount of foreign, outside of European Union players you can have in a club. So if we do buy Jesus Gallardo, we need to let go of maybe another foreign player. So, there's I don't know where we are on, if we're on the limit already or if we can afford one more, but I know that buying Osimhen, I can't remember who we had to sell. We had to sell off someone. I think it was Alan. We had to sell Alan, who had a Brazilian passport, to get Osimhen that had a Nigerian passport. So when you want to buy someone outside of Europe, it's a bit complicated. I'm not sure where Napoli are at the moment with amount of players that we can buy. So that's the only problem I have that I can see with this situation. So let's see. Do you think we should sell Koulibaly this summer and buy the Atletico center back that has been rumored? I believe it is time, although I love Koulibaly. I don't want us to sell Koulibaly. I think that we are already losing Maximovic. Why also lose out another center back? I think let's try to keep him. If he wants to stay, great. If he says he wants to leave, then you got to let him go. He's served us so well. So well that if he wants to leave, we owe it to him for his, if he wants that out of his career, that's fine. He gave us his 100%. So I'd be okay with that. He's not going to go to Juve or something like that. He's probably going to want to go abroad. So that's fine. But yeah, if he wants to leave, okay, sure. We won't keep people unhappy at Napoli. That's not what we do. But if he doesn't say I want to leave, then I wouldn't sell him. He guarantees you Champions League football, I think. So it'd be stupid to want to sell him because you're not going to find a replacement for him very easily. Visavis is saying, reminder, don't forget to like the video, guys. No, let me put a reminder. Don't forget to sign up to the Discord. Join the Discord, link in the description, but also follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, official Napoli Talk. There's another Napoli Talk that took the handle before me, but after I started the YouTube. So I can't call myself Napoli Talk on Instagram. So I'm official Napoli Talk because that's what it is. It's the official channel. But yeah, I'm a bit salty about that one. But that's my fault. I should have reserved that name. Anyways. I believe Mertens is finished. He can contribute very well against small teams in Champions League, says Samyas. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. He's not finished. There's no way Mertens is finished. He's had really good performances for us, even recently. It's just that his fitness, he's been rushed back because Petagna's been injured, and so we needed that second option. So he's been rushed back. He's had a bad season when it comes to that, and but he's not finished at all. And I think he's still one of the best strikers around. So yeah. Mertens has been amazing this year. Why would you say he's finished? Exactly. He's been good. He's not played much though. So yeah, he's not finished. He's on the decline. He's not gonna, suddenly score 30 goals next season. Okay, but I think any team would want him as a second striker, and I think he's so important for the dressing room. Gurkan 029, Dom, do you think the young guys on the bench should be given some time, maybe in the last minutes of games like this when we lead with several goals? Yeah, I think so. I think there was a moment, especially when there were so many players injured, that they should have gotten time because we needed them. Literally, we needed them. There was, we were playing broken people, like people with injuries, just to not put on the young guys. But we must play the young players. We must give them a chance to show themselves. It increases their value as well. If they get a goal or two, then we can just use that in transfer negotiations a lot more. We can send them on loan in exchange for a player, stuff like that. So every team does it, Lorenzo Di Butti is saying, I repeat, check Safe Moon Napoli Talk. Okay, I'll do that after the stream. Visavis is saying, thoughts on Gattuso's rotations? No, wait, please don't say anything about that. I need to keep my sanity. Okay, yeah. I mean, Gattuso has a lot to work on. His rotations, sometimes his substitutions, and I think that goes into the overall management of the game in the second half. I think we approach games quite well. But then from that 60th minute onwards, or I would say for some reason, it's the 50th to the 75th minute, we, it doesn't really, something happens. We kind of lose the grip of the game, and then that's it, And now the comments are just going to be about coins. Johnny Depp saying Shiba Inu is better. guys, this is gonna turn into some financial live stream. But as I said, I'm no financial advisor, so I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, guys. An hour and 10 minutes this stream. 2 games left. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Early kickoff. Make sure you're back. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow me everywhere. And, go check out the links in the description. And, guys, I'm going to head out. I've got work tomorrow. Got to wake up at 6. So, as always, guys, have a great week. See you on Sunday. Is it Sunday? Is it Saturday? I don't know. Don't take my word for it. I know it's an early kickoff, though. But anyways, see you when I see you. And, as always, Forza Napoli sempre.